guys, this is Lukayan Bulls TV, and like I said, today we are back. We have a special guest, and we are going to discuss a very interesting topic today. I'm going to introduce him, Mr. 3D Kennels himself.
G'day guys, it's Donnie Smith from 3D Kennels, and I'm glad to be here along with the Lukayan Bulls family. We're gonna have a great topic today.
All right, today we are going to be discussing what the Pocket American Bully should be. Okay, but before you do that, go and subscribe to 3D Kennels YouTube page. Go to their Facebook page and add them. You're definitely gonna want to follow this guy after you hear some of his opinions and thoughts on what we're going to talk about today. So here we are, gonna have this conversation right now about what the Pocket American Bully should be and what you think about the Pocket American Bully, I guess in comparison to the other classes.
Well, thanks. Appreciate you for allowing me on your platform. Let's get into it. The Pocket American Bully, in my opinion, I think should be a very proportionate, healthy, exuberant animal. If you don't mind if I give somewhat of specs of what I think that the dog should be. No longer than it is tall. So if it's 14 inches in height, it should be 14 inches in length, not inclusive of the tail. Again, proportionate. That's like the key thing that I keep saying, because at that frame, the skeletal structure on the dog, I don't think it's built or designed to take the massive amounts of weight that I've seen. No shots at the extreme pockets that are out there. Keep doing your thing, but in my opinion, I think it should be a proportionate, amazing animal that can perform if needs be. Just in case.
I would agree. I feel like the Pocket American Bully, I want to say in a way, not lost, but it seems like it's harder to find really solid examples of Pocket American Bullies that I really believe in today. There are a lot of examples. It's just hard for me to locate them and the kennel owners. But I do know a good number. But it seems to me like the standards are really coming on strong. But even when I think of the Pocket American Bully, there's so much of a bulldog look that's coming along today with our breed. I mean, with our breed, with the exotics and the ones with the more bulldog features. And I've realized that I don't see that as much in the standard dogs. The pocket dogs is where I really see that a change in look coming on strong, and that's very heavily favored by the rest of the community. What do you think about that?
Oh, great question. Well, my opinion on it, I agree, definitely. I'm seeing more of the Bracephalic type look in the pocket, much more prevalent. A lot of the loose wrinkles, a lot of the splayed feet, a lot of the massive and heavy bone, things I just don't think fit on the dog necessarily. Perfect example, no shade to this dog or his owner, but Grim. I think that he and that blood is kind of transitioning the Pocket American Bully into a different phase, so to speak. I think it's almost to the point that it's a different breed. I don't know the purpose or reason for it, but I realized that.
So I also agree with that. That what I call the bulldog look, the dogs that favor those features. What is a dog that you feel, a Pocket American Bully that you feel represents what the Pocket American Bully should be?
Waffle House, dead, Paco.
What do you mean by dead? Dead. Okay, Paco Samurai.
Paco, Bistro in a way. He has slight faults that he doesn't reproduce, but slight faults, just one or two things. Funny thing is, I think that from one or two of Bistro sons that this actual look started from the bus. I think that kind of loose skin, but he had really good conformation.
Really good
He was
confirmation.
a great show dog, so I just think people took that and just went with it because like I said in a video that I made, a lot of people considered him like to be almost the perfect pocket American bully.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, so I think the bus, in a weird way, kind of started the trend of, you know, the looser skin, the bigger bone. Even though he wasn't bigger bone per se, or really gargantuan for his size, he was very proportionate. But I think that was the beginning, in a way. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's still a pretty good example. I've heard people express those same feelings that you've expressed.
Oh, definitely.
But you know, even when I think of pocket American bullies today, and good examples, I think of dogs like Oi McKinbin
It's a nice
and
dog. It's a nice dog.
Flu Game, Waffle House Son.
He's a pocket?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He competed in the nationals, pocket at nationals.
He looks pretty tall.
Well, I guess it depends on what pictures you see, or you know.
We're talking about the grand champion, right?
Yeah. Then there's also, you know, my personal favorite is Master Shifu.
Oh, I love
You
it,
know.
love it.
And then when I think of, you know, it's important for me, and I say at Lukai Bulls TV, that when we think about each class of dogs, we think about where the line should also be drawn. And for me,
Good point.
in the pocket class, that is Westbrook Bullies Niles. He is an amazing dog. Someone would consider him.
So you think that he is the line, or you don't think he's over the line?
No, I think he is the line because.
Nah, I disagree.
But I'm going to explain to
Go
you why I
ahead.
said. When you have a dog with him, like I would consider him somewhat extreme because of his bone, his head size, and some of his features.
He's very structured
With his conformation,
and proportionality. Yeah,
I
he's a nice dog.
I consider him because I don't think you should have to necessarily use a tool dog that has bad conformation like we see all the time. But he's a dog with, I mean, extremely bully features with great conformation. So for me, I'm like, man, he is a
Tight
dog that I would, yes,
Good tail.
good tail, good top line. So he's a dog for me that
Yeah.
I would use if I wanted. I feel like for me, those, you know, extreme features, but still to keep that conformation.
I agree, but I wouldn't say he's the line. I would say he's over the line, but acceptably over the line. The line for me would be Ricky Ricardo.
Okay,
The
see-
line is
No,
like,
see, yeah,
he's
see,
bully,
see, for me,
same thing.
anybody that I would say over the line is someone I would say I shouldn't use. I wouldn't use. I wouldn't consider the tool dogs for me
I
are in
would
the
say
line.
he's an exception to the rule. How about that? Would that be suffice? Because I'm sure he's not 60 pounds. He's about at least 85. That's a big boy. He's about
Yeah,
85 pounds.
I didn't ask Mr. Westbrook how big he was, but I know he told me he was a pocket. And once I'd seen the features, I was like,
Yeah, the bone.
This-
Listen,
this-
it's a
this
great
is
package.
crazy.
It's a
Yeah.
great package. I love the headpiece. He is written to the standard. But that's another thing that throws me through a loop. Not changing the topic slightly, but I think the standard has to, you know, be less vague and more consistent if we want to make a breed that's going to stand the test of time. Because when you say you're not going to punish for mass, that's ridiculous. Like, we live in the real world. There is no way you're going to have a 14-inch dog that's going to be 120 plus pounds, and that's not going to negatively affect this breed.
yeah, I agree. I think at some point in time in the future, we're definitely going to have to put a weight limit on each class. But and I was thinking about that today. I was like, a 16-inch pocket. How much weight have I seen that class been able to hold? And I've seen some pretty well-built pockets at about 80 pounds or so. Because I was thinking to cap it off at like maybe 75, but I was like, my male is like 68, 70 pounds, and my female is about 70, 72. And I was like, man, I've seen dogs much bigger than them, still with good conformation, you know? So I was like, I don't know how much, you know, or where to cap that limit off at.
Well, okay, for me, and here's something like, no shade to anybody, but a lot of people don't realize that there is actually a difference in being what we call thick or mass and overweight or obese in dogs. We're talking about quadrupedal animals here. They don't show necessarily fat the same way that we would consider fat. Like, you can see them overweight, but in a dog, technically, if we're talking about how things are written, the standard of what's considered healthy BMI for dogs, if you can't see that top rib with an hourglass shape, the dog is considered overweight. If you look at all the other breeds, the Rottweilers, the Warren, all of the other breeds, large breed dogs, if you look, even the American Bulldog, which is much closer to our breed, look at the weight, the waist ratio, even though they have freakish features. And then look at the bully.
Well, we know from the standards and from the people in this community that will never be something that they will want, you know. But
we're talking about health here from a health perspective.
Yeah.
It's not healthy. Like if they breed dogs that are 100 plus pounds, German Shepherd, like all the large breed dogs, even Great Danes, you've never seen a Great Dane with a huge hulking amount of mass and like the kind of waist that an American Bully has.
Yeah, but like you know, there would be people that would say, hey, well, we don't breed for that. The standard wasn't meant for that. We are supposed to push the line. You know, what would you say to that?
Push the line to what extent and at what cost? That's my answer. At what cost? Listen, there's a reason that people who've been breeding dogs much longer, we've just gotten into the breed. My thing is humility and being humble and trying to understand and look at people who are successful. Okay, I'm not gonna say, okay, we got a hot breed, let's just go out here and think we're the best ever. There's a reason that you have dogs that are over 26 inches but aren't, and even though they weigh a lot, they look a certain way or have a certain physique and they get a certain level of life expectancy. What's crazy is if you look at the American Bully on most sites or anywhere you research it, it says that the American Bully gets anywhere from 12 to 14 years of life. I've never known any except the really old school breeds to get close to that.
Yeah, and I mean, so in light of, you know, a lot of the recent deaths of particular dogs of certain bloodline, we can see the importance that needs to be placed on probably, I guess, the weight limits, maybe the intentionality of moving towards an extreme dog. Maybe that does need to be, I guess, in a way discouraged, not only probably by the registries, but by the community entirely. I guess, what would you say to that? You know, seeing all of these recent deaths, I guess, and sorry, also things that can happen from building a dog too extreme.
Okay, I have 3 points on that. One is going to be my personal opinion, my professional opinion, and then just outright looking at the facts of the situation. Personally, I agree with you entirely. I think that we should discourage breeding to dogs that are too far over the line. Professional opinion on that would be, at the end of the day, do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to tell a man what to do with his yard. However, understand and know that there are pros and cons. If that's what you're going to decide to do, get your full research and understand what comes along with it. Keeping in mind that at the end of the day, the dogs suffer. And then 3, looking at the facts. At the end of the day, there's a reason there's a BMI indicator. There's a reason that even though you have a lot of large breeds, they have a particular look and a weight and a proportionality to them. I just say that and I leave that there. Research, finding out things, and at the end of the day, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, and I guess as we wrap up this conversation about the American Bully, the Pocket American Bully specifically, you know, here at our channel, Lucayan Bulls TV, and even if you were to go on 3D Kennels, you would see that we really talk about health and conformation. Those are the 2 most important things, correct?
Definitely.
So, you know, to tie in everything, if it's not going towards a more healthy pocket, a more conformationally sound pocket, I think we could both agree today that we would discourage you from breeding towards that goal. Okay?
Definitely. I'd like to add something. Not meaning to cut you off, but I personally believe that health and conformation go synonymously, because with conformation comes health. But the other thing that I would like to add is proper education, understanding what comes with what? Learning the skeletal structure of these animals, understanding what it can and can't take. There is a suffering that these dogs do take place when you put too much weight on a frame that can't take it. You know, but that's all I'll say for that.
Yeah, well, he couldn't be more right. We definitely do agree. We do appreciate you coming to spend time with us today. He will be here for 2 more weeks, next week and the week after that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video. Also go on the page 3D Kennels, like and subscribe the video. We thank you guys for your support. We will see you next week.